One of the biggest trends that this third atlas is generating and about its anomalies is the topic of pulses. According to this, the interstellar object is generating some kind of signal in space. Let's see how true this is and what kind of signal this object is sending with its 8 or 9 anomalies. Because of the speed, the type of material it's made of, the size, and a series of other things, even its orbit has caused, and we've explained it here in different ways. It has not only created the expectation that the object could be something else, but also as a mere phenomenon. That's already big news, at the very least super interesting. The observatories have been determining, under different observations, that this light seems to generate repetitive flashes, the light from the telescope, located, for example, in India. In Chile, over 15,000 kilometers apart, pulses with a symmetrical pattern have been detected. The light could also be another anomaly. And we count the two anomalies, which are the supposed signal pulses that it supposedly sends, and the issue of the light pulse. Those would also be two more anomalies, so 10 anomalies in total. Numerical pattern 8, 13, 8, 5, 13, 8, 8, 13, 8, 5, 13, 8. These pulses have been detected. This, I insist, already seen from different observatories. This would seem, well, like a transmission. In other words, a kind of signal that is related to these numbers. 8, 13, 8, 5. This sequence repeats. Another point they've been analyzing and can't agree on in this matter is the details, which would be in the range of 420 Hz. This would mean the hydrogen line, a frequency associated by some scientists with attempts at interstellar communication. Another topic that also draws attention is that the so-called regular pulses or this type of signal are also generated. A scientific publication, Science Alert, also publishes or talks about these signals. Since July, they began to observe and try to detect what possible radio signals they had. Many of those objects end up having certain pulses or certain signals, even radio signals, which are of natural origin, according to what they claim. But here we go to some details that I find interesting, published by this scientific magazine and website, in which it says, Comet 3 and Atlas was detected since July 1st, but since then it has generated interest. Not just the speed and trajectory, but also unusual pulses. It's a confirmed interstellar object, which has a brightness that some believe could be its own. This would already create an expectation of generating this brightness. It's believed that the size could be between 5 kilometers and 20 kilometers. Some claim that these types of pulses could be pulses generated by a natural phenomenon, but others support the idea that the pulse could be a kind of communication. So far, officially there is no communication signal that has been emitted. Confirm that. We should clarify that, right? There's no code for confirmed signal, correct? It's just this. These supposed signals would be considered a natural phenomenon, but for now, they're looking for signals like radio frequencies that could be detected. For now, scientists warn that monitoring needs to be done rigorously. In this animation, it can be perfectly explained why not, because this phenomenon isn't being left right now. I mean, the object that's moving forward. Instead, we're going to make the image in this graphic a little smaller to try to show and clarify why the phenomenon suddenly can't be seen. Look, there it is. This is Atlas, the one down here at the bottom. Yes, this one here is Atlas. Here's the Earth and here's the Sun. Clearly not. Here's Mars, right? So the phenomenon keeps moving forward. This would be, for example, that's where it was on September 12th, right? At this point, it was when we were all waiting for Mars to get closer, remember? Well, so there it goes. September 26th, September 29th, September 30th. There it gets close. It gets close to Mars. But look, where is Earth? So it manages to pass by Mars, but Earth is really far away, right? Well, so it passes by Mars. The probes on Mars are able to detect and photograph this object. By the way, it's been nearly a month. Haven't they sent National Aeronautics and Space Administration's photos yet? The photos that are there should have detected the phenomenon very clearly. Several probes, including from China, haven't sent anything. But anyway, that's one point. From there, we would be observing what's behind the sun, right? Earth is already up here, the back is on this side, and the sun is blocking us, right? So even now, it's still like that, right? So we're really far from that. It's on the other side of the sun. The one in October, that's October 27th. That's what we're seeing. That position we're seeing there, right? And sorry, that one. And then on the 29th, you can already start to see it. It starts to come out after the sun there at that height. And it keeps moving forward and keeps moving forward and keeps moving forward. And all that time, notice how Atlas is getting closer to Earth, right? See? December 19th, 2025 will be the closest distance to Earth that day. The Earth, if you notice, got closer. Even though Atlas is moving away, the Earth is getting closer on one side, right? You'll hear, did Atlas get closer to its closest point? Yes, you already saw how it is. Should I step back to see it again? Atlas is on its way, but Earth gets closer on the 19th. There it is, the 19th. What's the minimum distance between these two phenomena? Well, between Earth actually and this phenomenon, this object, this comet, right? Or whatever it is. So that point will be the closest on December 19th, the minimum distance. Then it will keep moving away and Earth will keep moving too, right? So goodbye. They'll keep watching whatever they can. It will be interesting to keep observing and discussing whatever can be researched now. Other things could happen. Maybe it changes speed or something else. Well, but at this point, this is being recorded on October 27th. So we don't know what's going to happen. Come on, nobody knows. We'll have to wait and get more information about this object. By the way, this was shared by Tansu Jagen on Twitter. And well, it clearly shows how the movement is happening to make things clearer on this topic, right? So up until now, we haven't seen a confirmation of a signal or an artificial pulse, right? Are the pulses curious? It could have to do with the type of gas that's coming out. It could have to do with the material inside. But there's no pulse detected that could be said to be artificial. At least not so far, right? Although there are some who argue that we need to keep analyzing that pattern of numbers to try to understand it, and that maybe that pattern of numbers is also artificial. Regarding that, we don't know yet, but it's not considered an artificial pattern so far, right? Just to clarify. Let's see what else happens, right? It's about to go beyond the sun, and we'll be able to observe it again. Let's move on to another topic. Meanwhile, I'll leave the reports here for you. We have a playlist that only talks about the 3-Eye Atlas. In case you want to check it out, I'll leave it here for you too. And well, stay tuned to everything that's happening.